for another Kung Fu book review. And I'm back from training, so I've got a nice healthy sheen. Right, let's get into it. We're going to be looking at the Harvard Medical School Guide to Tai Chi, with the 12 weeks to a healthy body, strong heart and sharp mind. And this is by Peter M. Wayne, PhD, with Mark Furest as well. So we've got one guy who's a medical doctor and the other guy who's the sort of main Tai Chi teacher. The medical doctor is obviously also a big Tai Chi fan, because this book is it's something a little bit different. So because it is written from the point of view of giving to medical practitioners to support a holistic approach to their practice, backed by evidence and citations. So because I come from an academic background, my background was in statistics and I worked on malaria transmission. This is familiar to me because each chapter is well referenced, right? And you've got the proper academic book style, so where you'll have footnotes with numbers, and then each chapter might have upward of 50 references. So it is an academic book, but it is written in I wouldn't say it's somewhere between a popular science book and a full academic treatise, but it is a technical manual, right? So and it's mainly from the point of view of as I said, medical practitioners who are interested in integrating some recommendations for Tai Chi to support certain types of conditions, say things like arthritis, heart conditions, the elderly avoiding falls, dementia. So it's all the stuff where there has clearly been well-researched, published work where Tai Chi shows significant improvements. There's also some stuff about chronic pain as well, but we'll come to each of this in turn. So overall, I got to say this is an excellent book. So it's very well written, it's very well researched, and it's I would recommend it to anyone who's like what's all, so if I have people that approach me and they're like, what's all this waving your hands about Tai Chi stuff, Mark? Like, you've got all you also do all this evidence-based training and strength training, and then you got like little floaty hand wavy stuff. And I generally point them in the direction of this book because I'm like, well, yeah, it's actually, there's tons of evidence to support the effectiveness of Tai Chi as a therapeutic intervention. And I'm one of the people that it really helped me. I had a really bad shoulder injury, overuse injury, doing external martial arts. Like karate, I was, fighting and training really hard, training, like 8 times a week. I was captain of the university team at the time, and then I just wrecked my shoulder and I couldn't do anything, and I was in really bad chronic pain, and it was an overuse injury, so it kind of rolled the joint like inside, and every time I moved it I got like bruising because I was causing all sorts of compression, and I had so actually there was the joint was like grinding up inside and popping blood vessels and things inside the shoulder, so it was really unpleasant, right? And about a year of Tai Chi, because I couldn't do anything else. I still wanted to do martial arts, and this was the only thing I could do. And they made me do some standing and some basic movements, and my arm was shaking all over the place, and I couldn't keep my arm up. And but over time, learning to do these very simple, gentle practices really helped restore healthy, normal function to my right shoulder. And then after that, sort of mobility and loss of pain, and now I can do all these awesome things again. So so Tai Chi has been amazing, and I really support all the hard work that the medical community is doing to try and find so do the tests and do it properly, and do double-blind tests where they can, or at least some form of controlled trial. And so far the results have been pretty good. like most of the interventions are in the elderly, but we'll come to all of those in turn. So what's this? So who's this chap? Peter Wayne, Assistant Professor of Medicine, Director of Research for the Center of Integrative Medicine. So this is this idea that, so this is not a It's not alternative medicine, right? So I'm a big fan of these guys in this camp. There's another book, The Web That Has No Weaver, similar. I think they're from the same Harvard School of Integrative Medicine, because what they do is, instead of saying it's not alternative, like, we don't reject the Western scientific framework. In fact, we still use that to test other approaches, right? So an integrative medicine guy would never use homeopathy, right? Because he would test it and find that it's no better than placebo, and sometimes worse, and would say, okay, that's rubbish. But might consider things like acupuncture for chronic pain, right? Because it clearly shows an effect that is slightly greater than placebo. So they're open-minded, but still use this rigorous approach. So that's the integrative medicine school. So I'm a big fan of this style. And also he's at the Women's Hospital at Harvard Medical School as well. So I really recommend just reading the introduction, because he's got this great section, East meets West at the Harvard Medical School, and that really is it. Like, it's basically explaining this foundation of this integrative medicine, so I can't even pronounce it, but is the idea that you can have two separate philosophies for how to treat medicine, but as long as you're rigorous and you see what actually works and you test it, then you can use whatever paradigm you want to treat a patient, and you can use both to support your care, right? So that's really fascinating and interesting. Because really, I mean, the world has more than one established medical tradition, right? So there is the Western medical tradition, obviously, which has done amazing things. But you've also got some other, schools of thought. So, but I think the problem is that a lot of them, they didn't have the rigorous approach to, how to use evidence and how to build trials and how to test things. But when you do apply those methods, you can sometimes find some real gems. So part one, Tai Chi and the Essential Elements. So this is essentially what is Tai Chi and why you need to use it. And then there's a really good section from page 29 to 66, which is the 8 active ingredients to Tai Chi. So like I always say, principle-based learning in books is excellent. So, and this is the sort of, the secret sauce to what makes Tai Chi good. So if we just have a look, we'll just pick at one of those, just take a look. So, and then he lays out these key points, right? So you've got things like awareness, intention, structural integration, active relaxation. So I'll just pick one, right? Active relaxation. Tai Chi's circular flowing motion helps shift the body and mind into deeper levels of relaxation. And this is a form of meditation in motion. And then he talks about, again, how this system was developed and what the principles are. And then goes into active relaxation. And it's great, like, so each of those key principles is then expanded into a large section. And he explains in Western medical terms, but then also refers to the Eastern principles. So it's talking about sung, right? So sung, that feeling of, the Chinese word is like loose scattering, right? So it's different to what I mean by relax. It's not just like lie on a bed, everything goes floppy and soft, right? Like you're going to watch TV, just slump, all your posture goes. It's holding a shape, but then letting all of that tension drop out the bottom, like coins dropping out of a purse. Yeah. And all of that is explained clearly in the structure of this book. So it's great. And then he develops a simple program. So again, first lead with program design and then teach specifics. Brilliant, well thought out. So part 2 is also excellent. So I recommend this for anyone who's a teacher of Tai Chi, right? And when people are asking you, oh, what does it do, right? So he goes, it's got all of the relevant citations, at least up to date as of, it's relatively recent, 2013. So about what the actual evidence for what Tai Chi can help. So improved balance and bone. So this is mainly done in the elderly, so fall and bone density. The most papers have been published about Tai Chi helping older people not fall over, which is, it sounds crazy, but it's a huge issue, especially for very frail people in hospitals, because they have a fall and then everything gets worse, and they stay in hospital longer. They get secondary infections. I actually studied that a little bit when I was working in a medical tech firm. So yeah, it can be a huge issue. So, and Tai Chi, because we spend a lot of time standing on one leg and balancing, can be very, very beneficial to those people. Ease your aches and pains. So for chronic pain and joint issues, like I personally bear witness to the effectiveness of Tai Chi in this regard. I've had all sorts of issues with my shoulder, and as long as I'm doing my Tai Chi and the shoulder maintains good alignment and structure, I have zero pain. And it used to be completely debilitating. I couldn't even, when my second year of university, I couldn't sit through one lecture. I would have to get up and walk around and like crack it, and it was in real agony, right? I couldn't even sit in a chair, and now I'm fit as a fiddle. Strengthen your heart. So there's some evidence that also deep breathing in Tai Chi has cardiovascular benefits. Is it going to make you the next long distance marathon runner? Probably not. Especially for detrained individuals, I think it can really have some benefit. If you're already an active cardio person, I think the effects are fairly limited. Deepen and enrich your breathing. This is definitely true. So breath quality, though, can definitely be improved. Even if you're used to having a huff and puff around. Most people are pretty heavy chest breathers in the West, and getting that deep diaphragmatic breathing is really, really important. Sharpen your mind. There's been some recent studies on cognitive focus, and that it can help with actual memory and recognition. So some of the psychology, the psychological profiling, they've got hold of a bunch of students, as these psychologists do, make them do a Tai Chi program, and then run the battery of basic psychological tests on them, and they found that, especially for memory, it's great. I think a lot of that to do is just learning the physical movements of the form, because I don't know if especially if you've tried to learn a long form, a Tai Chi long form. Oh my gosh, that is a work of considerable mental effort to learn and record all that and practice the movements and refine them. Enhance your psychological well-being and sleep quality. So again, I've had periods in my life where I've been pretty low, depression diagnosed at least once, and it's great. Like again, if I'm actively practicing Tai Chi, it gives you that light, positive. It can take the edge off the darkest moments, I think. So, and I'm not sure about sleep quality, so I don't have any personal experience there, but that's great. That's also been studied. Good, yeah. So, and then some real practical tips at the end. The last chapter, integrating Tai Chi into your everyday life, talks a little bit about some partner work. The section on the partner work, to be honest, I'm not blown away by that. So I don't think the guys there are really sort of martial Tai Chi guys. So it's not brilliant, that section. But I do really like the bit about cross-training and on the job with Tai Chi. I really recommend a little bit of something like yoga or Tai Chi if you're doing heavy weight training, bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, that kind of, anything that really, or if you're a heavy manual laborer, right? Because anything that's going to tear the body up and give damage to, you want to get into that rest, recovery, parasympathetic, chill zone in order for the body to recover, and so you're not constantly beating yourself down. And cross-training with Tai Chi, their section on that, their 229 to 240 is excellent. It's brilliant. Like as I said before, it finishes off with really, really good. It's got afterwards. I think that's an added section that they added in recently about Tai Chi in the 21st century, which is a lot to do with the fact that we sit down and look at screens all day. I'd really like to see the research if anyone's been studying that. That'd be great. Because I think that Tai Chi is unique in the fact that it's done standing. So a lot of yoga is kind of in a sitting, lying position, and we spend too much time sitting and lying down. Not to, there's obviously brilliant yoga out there, and it can really help, mobility and everything. But I think that Tai Chi is uniquely placed to be as a counterbalance to the excessive sitting that we do in the modern world. Notes and indexes, excellent, right? So he's got tons of, I love a good, when you're reading along, it's like got a note section at the back, and you're looking up, and it's like, there's extras, hidden details. And then the references is of academic quality, right? So you can go to each of the individual journals, and he's it's a full Harvard style reference for each of those, and there are 50 per chapter minimum, and then it's got a good index as well at the end. So overall, excellent book. If you're a Tai Chi teacher, buy this book, right? Like, buy this book, because every time anyone asks you about, what's the point of doing this, or you maybe have beginning students that are just like, should I really be doing this? Or you have intermediate students who go through that doubt phase, like, is this really? It's just standing there with my hands. I know I kind of feel better sometimes, but is it really going to help me? You've got this, actual Harvard Medical School evidence backed by primary research to say, yes, it will do all these amazing things for you. Just keep at it, right? And also just for your own knowledge, and and also I just want the Tai Chi community to know about this, right? Because there's a lot that are in the kind of sort of like hippie, it's the alternative medicine community, crystals and acupuncture and homeopathy and stuff, but like Tai Chi is not in that family, right? Like, it's it can be, but equally it's brilliant for me, from someone who's come from an academic statistics background, to see that this stuff is legitimate, right? It's really working, and it's being studied by people at one of the top medical schools, and it's clearly effective across a range of stuff, and we've only just started to really study it properly. I'm sure there'll be more to come. So if you're a Tai Chi teacher, definitely buy this book. If you're interested in having if you're like one of these people that's like, I want an evidence-based program, but you've got some of these things, like you've got a joint condition, bad back, and you can't really do a kind of modern strength and conditioning program, or they'd start you off with just a ton of weird physio exercises. I think this is a much better way to get moving. Also, if you've got any depression, mental health stuff, I think this is a really excellent guide to build a program and to gently introduce this practice into your life, in the knowledge that it is supported by really good sound evidence. And if you're a Tai Chi practitioner, obviously their recommendations and things might be a bit different, but I think the sections around the key principles is good regardless, and the evidence and how to apply it and how to program it, I think, are also excellent, right? And might support whatever style of Tai Chi that you're doing. So overall, massive thumbs up for the Harvard Medical School Guide to Tai Chi. I really recommend this book to tons of people. I'm a big fan of it, and like when I write articles and stuff, I'm quite often diving through and then finding the references to support the the evidence. So and there are tons of people here in the UK as well that are also doing this kind of work. So I think there's some really good work being done with cerebral palsy, people that are suffering from that and doing Tai Chi. So here, I think mostly the Wu style Tai Chi guys in the UK are doing that. So brilliant. Like, I cannot support this type of work enough. I think it's excellent. If anyone's wants a Tai Chi person to get involved in this and teach people, and you're watching this, like, hit me up. You're based in the UK. I'd be happy to get involved in this sort of thing. I really want to support this. So let me know. Good. Let me know if you want me to do any more Tai Chi books. I have plenty. I'm looking at one right now that is could be a bit controversial. But let me know more Tai Chi, maybe some Qigong or something like that as well. Best of luck with all your practice. Please like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you all soon.